The Book of CyberBohemians, another chapter of Good Wizard's Holy Text. Chapter 1. Our brave hero Jesus, on the night he was betrayed, took bread, gave thanks, and when he broke it for his disciples, he said, "Take, eat, this is my body. Do this whenever you meet in remembrance of me." Then he took the cup, gave thanks, and said, "Take, drink, this is my blood, poured out unto you for the forgiveness of sins, blah blah blah." Anyway, all that stuff they say before communion transforms bread and wine. That's their magic trick, so don't judge it. Let's say Jesus heard that wine thing Dionysus and other mythical entities did and thought it was cool. It's hard not to like heroes making more booze so we can party on. Muslims have a much different view of Jesus, but most of them know it's not worth blowing up in public. It's harder to get a rope through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Pretty sure rope makes more sense than camel here. Also, contrary to Borges, the Quran does explicitly mention camels. Do they not look at the camel and how it was created? Quran 88:17. Good Wizard is smarter than Borges. So back to the story about the rich kid asking Jesus what to do. Basically, he said, sell everything, give away the money, and hit the road with me. Jesus knew an economic downturn was coming. It wasn't hard to tell given the remoteness of their entire region relative to the rest of the Roman world. Now Good Wizard says, let the limousine liberals and private jet flyers join the Greyhound riders and regular commuters of all kinds if they wish to enact legislation that affects everyone. Instead of lineage, Good Wizard opted for expediency in appointing his prophet translator. Rather than a role model, which people get burnt out on, Good Wizard chose someone from off the beaten path, whose travels taught him enough to take this particular translation and transcribing gig. Chapter 2. Our magic savior Harry Potter, on the night he had to fight Voldemort the final time, took bud, broke it up on a tray, and passed it to his followers, saying, "Take in this terpene bouquet, all of you. This is the magic tree, dried out for the magnificent spliff." He then prepared tobacco leaf wrapper while the tray got passed all the way around the circle, and when it got back to him he took the leaf, rolled it, and, with some prolonged pauses to properly seal the leaf shut, he said to them, "Blaze up all of you, this is my blunt, burned because there's no hell in the religion of winds. Do this whenever the session calls for it, in remembrance of me." The only magic spell used on this homely brain caramel, wrapped in chocolate-toned tobacco leaf, was the soft flame from the wand of Ron Weasley, the true brother that Harry never had. Once it was lit, the first smoke that emitted from Harry Potter's puffing made contact with our Savior's breath as he relinquished the shallow smoke faster than it could lose that sweet and spicy brain barbecue flavor. Then he passed it to the left, as everyone saw the smoke and his breath grow like a patronum, taking form and adding the ethereal onto itself. Then, getting denser instead of dissipating as most smoke clouds do, it formed a perfect circle of smoke that closed in on itself before another puff of smoke could touch it. Then this holy patronum vanished, and a blunt appeared from thin air it had left behind. As the blunt whose smoke gave birth to its twin continued to burn, Harry picked up the freshly rolled one from the floor. When he finished inspecting it, he gave thanks, lit it up, and said, with the smoke slipping from his mouth and nose, "Toke deep, all of you. This is my diploma, given unto you for a truly higher education. Do this whenever you feel like, in the name of Good Wizard Most High." Then he took a deep drag, held it in, and coughed out a cloud from which more blunts rained on the floor between flashes of neon multicolor lightning. All who saw, though most had yet to get a puff of magic plant themselves, were amazed. These are the words of Good Wizard Most High, with true stories of the magical savior. Chapter 3. As this blunter storm abated, Harry pointed to the gifts of Good Wizard and told his followers, "Take and spark one for yourselves. These are magic wands from Good Wizard, poured out for us to turn Hogwarts into a high school." With extra unlit wands in hand, they blazed away as they walked the halls sharing Good Wizard's gifts. So it was done, just as Good Wizard wanted, with fragrant clouds attracting people who were given their own smoke. The Death Eaters, and their secret infiltrators known as the Buzz Killer Brigade, who were in the habit of smoking only cigarettes, calling them a term considered offensive by Yankees, were smoked out in this way. The holy union of tobacco as paper and sticky icky as ink represented Good Wizard's promise of a better way being shown by Harry Potter. All this stuff really happened in the magic world, and Good Wizard left it out of the J.K. Rowling books and movies in order to leave his prophet translator with significant episodes in the life of Harry Potter to tell those who are tired of fan fiction. The word of Good Wizard is full of magic truths for those of understanding. As smoke clouds gathered, so too did the crowd around its point of origin. In the same great hall where all had once worn the sorting hat, Harry Potter spoke, and his voice was heard by those who couldn't see him through the smoke. Witches and wizards of all four houses, what unites us is not the many institutions controlling our education. It is not opposition to them either. All of us have learned valuable lessons here, but we must recognize the greater lessons those in charge of us taught unintentionally. We've learned that defense against the dark arts is not something we the people can outsource to those in authority. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance, and that starts before we're old enough to see the full scope of that freedom. Those in charge will say Magic Plant is making us paranoid, but their war on drugs has made casualties of its own civilians. So too has our Ministry of Magic's strict policies harmed the people they are supposed to help. By this time everyone was getting thirsty, and on Madge Island, as it is in Muggle England, all sorts of respectable traditional beers were brought forth and set upon the head table reserved for the professors. Harry, who sat in the headmaster's chair at the center of the table, looked upon the pitchers arranged in a spectrum from bright orange all the way to opaque dark brown brews resembling espresso with lighter brown foam on top, and saw that it was good. Glasses floated down from the chandeliers, and in true British fashion they formed queues behind each pitcher. Harry continued to address the crowd as they got their drinks and went back to their tables, saying, "If there be a better refutation to the Platonic ideal than beer, with its variety providing everyone with their own ideal brew, I do not know what it is. We all have our preferences, but our differences are not inherently problematic. Jesus said he would turn households against one another, but Good Wizard has brought the four houses together against evil within these very walls. The government and administration of our school has proven year after year that it doesn't protect us, and can no longer provide so much as a false sense of security. We cannot afford to keep paying for their mistakes, and have therefore formed our own well-regulated Magicia. It's well-regulated because we train well, regularly. Too many Yankees foolishly think their Second Amendment means that government regulations control the militia. This is the kind of dangerous word magic being used by those who seek to disarm the people while surrounding themselves with armed guards." These are the words of our magical savior Harry Potter, written so those of discernment can understand Good Wizard's magic truth. These true events in the magic world will show the way of word magic to those in the non-magic world. Chapter 4. The stories in this book of Good Wizard's holy text will be considered blasphemous by Christians and Harry Potter fans alike. That's not a problem, but a prophecy. Go try it out by sharing the true words of the magical savior Harry Potter. They will say it contradicts their canon. They're not wrong about that, but their canon is not entirely correct. Nonetheless, Good Wizard would give their canon passing marks, if he were a creative writing teacher. The magical new religion of Tadaism presents the holy text as a point of departure from the fictions of previous societies. Just as the magical savior had to fight evil wizard because the Ministry of Magic was more afraid of losing its power than losing the lives of people under their system, we the people must establish a new Ministry of Magic to protect ourselves in this non-magic world. When they ask, "Who is this Good Wizard?" say, "He is the magical entity that believes in all of us and the Bill of Rights." Dumbledore never existed in the magic world. J.K. Rowling was given creative liberty by Good Wizard. Those who took the author's revelation about her character's sexual orientation and read it into her books are Good Wizard's proof to believers in ancient texts how easily misled they are as readers removed from the worldview in which they were written. The truths of the holy text will show Muggles their own magic. Good Wizard knows the magical world's history as well as things that will happen in the non-magic world. Good Wizard doesn't threaten unbelievers with hellfire because he doesn't believe in it. The holy text is being sent to save humanity from the hell they're currently making in the non-magic world. As the Prophet Translator transcribes this verse, the Christian calendar is April 24th, 2023. Good Wizard declares the date to be the 24th of Lennint, in the year of the boy who lived 42. Harry Potter's birthday, July 31st, 1980 on the old calendar, is the magical New Year's Eve, and August is now Ronuary, the first month of the year on the magical new calendar. Having established that August 1st, 2023 CE will be Ronuary 1st, 43 on the magical new calendar, those acquainted with the World War II timeline will be able to see Russia winning on the Eastern Front in the year to come 43, as they did in 43. This is the word of good wizard with prophecy on the calendar. It has been written in ink on paper which can also be dated.